right, let's go then. Um, so again, welcome everyone. Uh, I'm so happy to see you all here and be able to meet during these last days of the year that are quite challenging all around the world. I'm sure you heard of it. Um, but we thought it would be interesting for the end of 2021, which has been busy, of course, very exciting, full of surprises, that's for sure, that we tackle this subject. And yes, I'm talking about the M word that we will try to pronounce the least possible because we all know we have been knocked out by this word. So we want more to have this exploratory conversation around the future of virtual worlds in their professional use, like this very same technology that we're using right now. So of course, a shout out to our partner Verbella that we've been working with for 2 years now. But we are also very close to other editors since a few months now, people that are working directly on those virtual worlds and making them as interactive as possible and as closest as human interaction can be today regarding the stakes we all have in the society today. So of course I'm thinking about Vertway, Teamu, Tech Adaptica, a few of them, of course, you probably know. Frame is also one of the greatest solution that is popping right now for the web VR space. And to do so today, I have with me an amazing panel, and we will do the exercise together, try and do this uh, forward looking to first 1 year. So maybe next year, think about what is going to happen, not only technologically speaking, but more in terms of adoption, how we will adopt and try to adapt also to this technology for the people that are still not using this type of tech. But even more, and try to do it at 5 years from now. Pretty tricky, right? We'll see how we'll do that. Um, so I'd like to introduce you to Karen Alexander, XR enthusiast, very active in the education industry as director of XR Connected and also member of the iLearn community. She helps companies, but also organizations to navigate the landscape of immersive technologies. Last but not least, she is also a co-founder of XR Women, so also representing them tonight. International community of the title says it all, actually. Women working in the XR space. So growing together, empowering women in the XR space, and also connecting around education. We also have with us Nicolas Perrier, XR consultant and also expert in the metaverse. Oops, I said it again. Sorry about that. He's been working in the VR AR space for a couple of years now in various industries. Nicolas, you also had your company in VR and AR related to training. Feel free to follow him on social media. I always say that, but he shares pretty good insights around those burning topics and the evolution of the XR market. Finally, we will dive in a case study. We have the chance to have one of our partner with us today, Gabriel Ruiz, instructional designer at Alstom University. He will tell us all about their virtual world, how it has been deployed, sorry, so far, and what are the ambitions of such a technological adoption. Um, so let's get into it. Right into it, Karen. I'd like to start with you. And before we take the crystal ball, could you share probably a few thoughts on your experience inside the different virtual worlds that you've been using the past few years, probably? maybe this past year, just to focus on this one. And I think I would like also for you to share with the public what was the most engaging experience you had so far using that technology.
Thank you so much, Marwa, and thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited to have this conversation and to hear what Nicolas and Gabrielle have to say. Um, so, you know, my XR Women community meets on the Immersive Learning Research Campus in Verbella, right? So we meet every Wednesday there, and we've really developed a sense of community through that group. And so when I went to the Augmented World Expo conference in California earlier this year, so an in-person experience, I was able to meet these women who I felt like were already my friends and members of my community. And so in a way, this most awesome experience, to answer your question, was in person, but the reason it was so awesome was because of my interactions with people in the iLearn platform, the iLearn campus on Verbella, meeting all these women every week. I also love the Engage platform. It is really amazing. If you haven't tried it yet, please check it out. And in Frame, which you mentioned before, we created an
Yes.
XR Women Museum, and that was really cool to be able to do that, to showcase all of the 50 events that we have had over the past just over a year since we founded. Um, and we are truly a global community. As I was saying earlier to the other speakers yesterday at our meeting, we had women joining us from Austria, Canada, Iran, Kenya, Malaysia, South Africa, the US, and even someone who was coming in from Antarctica. So that's one of the things that I love. The awesomeness of these kinds of virtual worlds is that it brings people together from far distances, and you can really create relationships with them in these worlds. This is an incredibly exciting time. Some of us have been waiting for years for the kinds of activation we are seeing in the space now. A lot of hard work has gone into building the foundations that allow the metaverse to exist. And some of the energy propelling development forward has come from the COVID crisis, but it's not just that. It's also the accumulated effect of technological advancement, and it now seems to be progressing at an exponential rate. So I'm happy to be here with you all today and to share my thoughts on where virtual worlds and the metaverse are headed in 2022. And so I've got sort of three keywords, possibly a fourth if there's time. And please do let me know, Marwa, if there's not. But these words I'm going to touch on are proliferation, diversification, and discrimination. So when I talk about proliferation, I mean that we're going to see in 2022 a proliferation of virtual worlds that together constitute the metaverse. There's a lot of work being done in the background to build new virtual worlds. These companies are ready to jump into the fray. Many of them are small startups, and to seize the metaverse opportunity. So we will see them released and made available in 2022, a lot of them. And whether or not they'll survive, I might leave that to Nicolas or Gabrielle,
Yeah.
because if they're just coming out in 2022, they might last for a while, but we'll see, we'll see. Um, so the second word I want to touch on is diversification. There is already a wide range of virtual worlds in existence, and some of them cater to different audiences or are intended for different functions. And while I think that many of the new virtual worlds that will appear in 2022 will be focused on diverse audiences or applications, diversification will also take place within business uses. As large companies rush to enter the metaverse, they may start from two fronts. And one is the virtual meetings and event spaces, which I'll come back to. And of course, we are all here in one of those. And the other is the area of branding, marketing, and v-commerce. So brands will want to be seen as hip and cool. They will want to be seen in virtual worlds. So they will place themselves in existing worlds or events hosted on various platforms. But some of the larger companies will also begin to create their own worlds to showcase their brands. And they'll start to implement v-commerce, so places for customers to shop in the metaverse that have integrated payment functionality. We'll really start to see this emerge in 2022. Some of this might be on the blockchain or involve NFTs. I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm not at all an expert on NFTs or the blockchain. But of course, companies will want to use virtual worlds for meetings and events. Unfortunately, COVID doesn't seem to be going away. And as those of you who are here know, there are many other reasons to find value in holding virtual meetings, bringing people from any location together. As I indicated before, it builds camaraderie, it facilitates collaboration, it helps to unify organizations, in addition to saving time and money spent on travel and physical venues. So in addition to that, companies will start to use virtual worlds for things like employee onboarding and training, which may be very different kinds of internally facing uses of virtual worlds for these companies. So this is part of what I mean by diversification, a diversity of uses of the metaverse or of virtual worlds within single organizations. This is going to lead to challenges in 2022 around privacy and security and considerations such as a unified approach to a company's virtual world, making sure that they have the company feel or represent the company brand, for example, and how and whether those different worlds within one company interconnect. For example, they might have, if they have something that is consumer facing, they might not want that connecting to their internal worlds for security reasons. So virtual worlds will cut across different functions and divisions, and companies will need to have a strategy for them all and someone to direct it. So for this reason, I predict that Chief Metaverse Officer will be the job of 2022. Some of them there are already some of them out there. Nike, I believe, has a Chief Metaverse Officer,
Yes.
and we'll see more of those titles arise. So my next word is discrimination, and I am using that in two senses. One is the sense of discernment. So users, both in the general public and as employees, will very quickly become sophisticated with regard to virtual worlds in 2022. They will demand more in terms of functionality, and they will compare worlds in terms of that. Does this world allow for sticky notes or whiteboarding? Does that one support the importation of 3D models? And can you work on those models collaboratively? So this will start to heighten the competition among virtual worlds, which will make things difficult for those just entering the space. And users will also want more from their avatars. Additional body types, ages, races, ethnicities, abilities, and clothing will matter. And so this kind of brings me to the next way in which I'm using the term discrimination, and that is as bias. So the ways in which biases and discrimination against certain people are baked into virtual worlds includes, but not just avatars. So the use of artificial intelligence in these worlds, and I think we'll increasingly see integration of other technologies like AI and blockchain, Internet of Things with our virtual worlds, but that will be a factor, and we'll start to see more and more attention drawn to how these issues play out in the virtual workplace. So do I have time for my fourth word, Marwa?
I think we can. Yes.
Okay, great. So my last word is one that I've made up, and it is
Even
called
more interesting.
yeah, right. I said I would be a little bit silly. We're having fun. This is a holiday party, so why not? So this word is traversation. So among the issues that chief metaverse officers will have to contend with, as I mentioned above, is how and whether their company's diverse virtual worlds interconnect. And so they'll also have to think about how and whether these worlds connect with others outside the company. There are discussions taking place around interoperability among standards organizations, including the IEEE and the Kronos Group, that will help make traversation, or rather traversal between worlds, more seamless. And I was saying earlier that we have platforms like Frame, which I mentioned earlier. It's a web-based platform, and it's already offering the ability to, through a simple link, move to worlds in spatial and in hubs. So we're going to see more of that, especially with the rise of more and more worlds and platforms in WebXR. And this will begin to raise a host of other issues. So I think that's all I have for my comments for now. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you,
And
Karen.
yeah, I look forward to hear what the others have to say.
I think those three different ideas you shared are very, very interesting and very thorough. I mean, um, a few of them a few of them are really what are the main questions that a lot of people are right now asking all around to try to of course to hack this topic around metaverse and what will those virtual worlds look like in a few years. But of course the most challenging ones are um, setting up right now the different basis of what will look like our life, our professional life, and you mentioned also individual life as a person, of course. So personal life also can be achieved in those virtual worlds. I'm sure the gaming industry is all around the place right now. I'm sure that the different actors you already know, like Unreal Engine, but also Unity and so much, are right now doing all this work. But again, I think one thing I would like to stick with is what you said regarding um, gatherings and communities. Um,
Yes.
Whenever we're using this technology, whatever the use case, there's always this common area where we want to bring together a specific group. So it can be internal community for a company that is gathering collaborators all around the world. It can be a nonprofit gathering its members. It can be a company that wants to gather its own clients. No matter when and what we're doing in those virtual worlds, there's always this sense of togetherness that we want to feel. So maybe after that we will talk about because there are a lot of questions around okay, if we're using this technology, will we forget about the in-person life? Will it completely replace the different elements that we share normally when we are in with a person, lose this natural feeling of sharing things? I think we will keep that question for the end, but that's a good moment right now to go straight into a more futuristic a point of view. And for that, I would like to leave the stage to Nicolas, and probably I'm sure you have to share with us a few thoughts on what is going to happen, but if you can focus on the different challenges that we could face in the next year when it comes to using virtual environments, and probably the corporate challenges inside companies. That would be awesome, Nicholas. I will leave you the stage.
Okay, thank you, Marwa, and thank you, Karen, for this great presentation. So I will focus about the future of the metaverse in 5 years, my vision of the future of the metaverse in 5 years. I will begin to explain my vision of the metaverse right now. Right now, I think we are just at the beginning of the peak of inflated expectation. Everyone 12 billion at the metaverse, hoping to be among the few leaders of this new gold rush. Uh, I think right now is more the metaverse is more a concept than a reality. And I think in 5 years it will be it will mature. It will be more, once the bubble blown away. It will be starting to be more mature for B2B and B2C uses for everyday for everyday. I think metaverse it's a convergence of technology and the different technologies that compose metaverse will also mature to form it. The first one is XR. I think in the coming years, immersive technology will become a real mass market technology, not just a niche. Hardware will be lighter with new function like eye tracking, face tracking, body tracking, and it will be easier to use. And some great name like Apple will enter the market, and I think it will contribute to become to become a mass market technology. Also, avatar. Right now in Verbella we have 3D avatar, but they're not very detailed. And I think we will have vastly improved inverters in the next few years with more interaction. And I believe realistic avatar will be a thing. We can already create a realistic avatar, but not using it in social VR app. But it will also be a way to choose a completely different appearance that can reflect the personalities that we want us to have. A younger avatar with another gender, even not human at all. We can see this kind of practice in VR chat, where every avatar are not realistic at all. But this with avatar craze, we also from comment to say. We also see the rise of virtual fashion, because virtual clothes and accessories are already a thing right now in the gaming industry, and in the beginning of the metaverse. It's not a far-sighted idea. Right now, luxury brands are already making millions, and there is a great economical potential. The consulting firm Morgan Stanley estimates the potential market for virtual luxury and fashion at 50 billion by 2040. So I think in just 5 years, it will be already a great market. But to own and to own a virtual goods like a virtual accessory or virtual clothes, one of the key for the future metaverse economics will be NFTs, in my opinion, because it allows unicity of virtual goods and it can guarantee ownership. Without NFTs, it will be hard to buy and sell virtual stuffs in the metaverse. And I think NFTs will be used daily by everyone in the metaverse in 5 years. Another tech that will be vastly improved will be 3D engines like Unreal Engine or Unity. I think during the past few years, 3D engines evolved very quickly. It's now easier to create without the need to reinvent the wheel or to be a computer engineer. I think 3D engines will be used to create all new entertainment and cultural contents, movies, TV show, animation movie, gaming, even ads. Um, right now, everyone can start to learn how to use it. It's free to use, and tutorials are free online. And I believe in 5 years, users will create their own 3D contents for the metaverse, like mini games, training in VR, 3D environments, avatar, virtual objects. And it will be as much common as making a YouTube video. But it's not just about tech, it's also about the convergence of uses. I before the metaverse, before even the smartphone, the digital uses were centered around the computer 20 years ago. And Apple's begin to see that smartphone will be the next great thing. And right now, every the smartphone is the center of our digital life. But I believe in 5 years, VR, or XR device, it's not it can be a XR headset with the form factor of glasses. Then that can be the center of our digital life in 5 years. It's also the vision of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. Um, so we will use metaverse to be entertained. Movie, gaming, TV show, music concerts. 3D is everywhere. We can already seeing it in gaming, like music concerts in Fortnite, this kind of thing. It's already beginning to be more social experiences more than pure video games. And I believe in 5 years, it will be one of the uses of the metaverse that will be very popular. The metaverse, we will also learn in the metaverse, like simulation for professional training, educational contents, and what I call brain hacking. It's like how to use virtual reality or augmented reality to increase to learn better, to increase our learning skills, and to learn faster than with traditional learning method. And I think it will be a huge one of the great use of the metaverse. Working, it will be also a very popular use, like telecommuting meeting apps for our co-workers, create a team building with our co-workers, because with people working all around the world, it will be difficult to meet face to face and to create a real team spirit. So I think metaverse for that will be a great use. Um, Also, there will be like here virtual events and numerous jobs. We will be in the metaverse, but it's not metaverse jobs like the chief operating metaverse officer or this kind of thing. It will be normal job, like a teacher in English, that can be teach English from students all around the world, and immerse their students in the various situation. And I think this new use will create new opportunities to work for international companies, even if you're in a small town in a country with no great giant tech company.
Yeah, so the work from anywhere, basically what you're saying,
Yeah,
and that the fact that the normal jobs that we know from today could have a sort of virtual or hybrid version of them, like
yeah.
be able to teach in the real world, be able to teach in a metaverse. I think that's really a good point. Yeah.
Um, so I also believe that retail and shop will be a huge thing. It already began to show. NFT or real goods, not just virtual goods. Like the way before, the metaverse will be a giant marketplace, and retail will be a huge part of the metaverse. Right, just a few days ago, Nike just bought Artifact, the company who can produce NFT sneakers, and the how to say, it was a transaction of thousands of million, but nobody know how much the boat was. And I think shopping in the metaverse will be a very popular uses. So meeting with people will also be a great deal, and go out virtually with friends. Especially if you're in a country with COVID, with the COVID problem, meeting virtually with friends and go out for a movie or playing with laser tag or this kind of thing can be really useful, and also from new meaningful relationship, to have new friends, real friends in the metaverse, in even date. I'm personally convinced that dating in the metaverse will be a thing. Meet someone in a safe virtual place, go out and watch a movie together in the virtual movie feature, and have fun together by playing games, start to flirt. It I'm pretty sure it will be a common thing, like using dating apps today. And in the metaverse, you will also be healthy. Right now, workout it at home is very effective in VR, and it's far more fun from running alone on a treadmill. I hate. I personally hate to work out alone. It's pretty boring, and in VR it's way more fun and engaging. Um, I also think that meditation, yoga, and digital therapies like psychological therapy, correcting vision problem, and pain relief already exist, but are not widely used today. And it will be a huge thing in the 5 years to come, to use in the metaverse. One of the things that will be very popular also, it's adult entertainment. Historically, the adult industry has always pushed the limit of new technology, and also promoted their adoption, like the use of the VCR, the DVD, the internet. Since sex tech will be massively used in the metaverse, like interactive motion control, porn games, sexual avatar, connected sex toy, haptic device. It's already a thing, but it's a niche right now, and I think in 5 years it will be huge. And My belief is that in 5 years, metaverse will be a big part of our life, but it's also new challenges that will emerge, like a greater digital divide between people that will not have access to or understand this new technology. Also, new laws and jurisdiction to regulate the metaverse, image rights for celebrities' avatars, copyright of virtual objects. There is an all new legislation to invent. Addiction to simulated reality could also be a problem, when for most people the virtual world will be more compelling than the real life. Huge issues concerning privacy and collected data. For example, eye tracking data contain information about users' biometric identity, gender, age, ethnicity, body weight, personality traits, drug consumption habits, emotional states, skills and abilities, fear, interest, and also sexual preference. So the issue with privacy will be huge. Manipulating perception of realities, censorship, fake news. Is anybody right now trust a company like Facebook, Meta, to run the metaverse? I don't think so. Do we have to plan a regulation for the big platform in the metaverse in the coming years? I strongly believe that we have to plan this regulation right now. I don't wait to be completely overwhelmed by Facebook, by Microsoft, by this kind of giant tech company. And a few metaverse platform owned by the GAFAM or the BATX. What about interoperability? They're all saying that they want interoperability, but right now their action are not telling the same story. They try to grab a place in this market and not really be interoperable with the other actor. And I think the one of the great threats of in the metaverse in the 5 years to come, it will be Facebook, because Facebook and Meta are, are not how to say they are not they're uh, it's really frustrating to me to speak English. I'm sorry. I'm always searching for my word. They're evil. They're here just to make money, but they already prove that they don't care if there is people who suffer from their action, their decision, and I think. Giving the keys of the metaverse to a company like that will be a huge mistake. That's my final word for the 5 years to come.
It was a lot of information, but I mean, there are a lot of years, and I think a lot of things are going to happen. I totally agree on that, Nicholas. If I have to catch one main information that you
Yeah.
shared from all of this is that the challenges are here, but they need to be tackled today
Yeah.
before we get overwhelmed. And that's something that resonated for me, at least. I'm sure, Karen, you share the same thought. I mean, we have to build something, of course, as safe as possible. You mentioned ethics, Karen, too. For the next year, you mentioned bias. Also, I think privacy and data is very important. But yeah, safety first in the usage of technology. I mean that can be applied to any technology actually. So yeah, of course. So I think it will be a work for so many years. Um, but we can directly switch to very, very concrete and very current usage that one of our partners is having right now to empower its collaborators to make sure that they learn more, and get trained in the proper conditions to make sure that the level of their engagement inside those training situation are more and more engaging. I will leave the stage to Gabriel. He will tell us all about the deployment of a virtual world inside their internal school, the Alstom University, and tell us more about the ambition of that project.
Yes, thank you, Nicolas. Thank you, Karen, for all the things that you said. Most of them we deal right now with all these things, and not only for XR, but anything related to the internet and the social network. Been dealing with this for a while now. Let me begin by telling a little bit about my job. I'm an instructional designer at Awesome University, and especially working for the digital team. That means I'm really, really engaged in all these things. Me and Thomas, my colleague, he's sitting back there, and my boss Frank, he's also here. And our goal has been, even before the COVID that we talked about, to bring training to everybody in Alstom. The corporate training, of course, there are some really critical things like technical subjects like welding or safety, which is very, very critical, and cybersecurity, things like this. And we know how difficult it is to really engage people in the in the content if it's not delivered properly. And after COVID, that we had no more travel, no more gatherings, and everything had to be digitalized. An effort that was happening before, but then, like I like to say, everybody was pushed off the plane. Like, okay, you have your parachute, you have everything, but okay, no more waiting. Now we have to do it. And then we started uh, creating more e-learnings, understanding better how to organize the catalogs for training, and that opened so many possibilities that we're still working on it. And of course, adopting new technology or old technology that has been refurbished to match the current needs of the pandemics is a big part of it. And we are always checking for new things and different things. And of course, that's how we ended up in Verbella, and using VR for different kinds of training. One of our most popular ones is for ethics and not ethics. Sorry, it's EHS, which is health and security. It's about working on train tracks, which is a very dangerous job, and normally they do it. They cannot practice. Like a train's coming, you should move out of the way. So we made a virtual visit. We took 360-degree pictures and animated and videos. We made the train run on top of the camera, not destroying it, of course. But you cross at the wrong time, the train catches you. You cross at the wrong time, that thing hits you in the head. You have to look left and right, and we simulate how the person would react in that place as well as we can. And of course, uh, one thing we have to always remember, since we are dealing with learning and humans, we are not virtual creatures. We are humans, and we use XR to trick our brains into believing that what we're seeing is real, and even though we know it's not. But that's the spirit, trying to trick our senses. And so far, we are doing a very good job with visuals and sound. But we know there's technology being developed today, especially after the pandemics, that covers the other senses as well. We have robotics trying to make robots feel taste, robots feel smell, and the robots can touch. And that technology is being developed. Like Nicolas said, the technologies will appear, and this is only the beginning, in my opinion. Like what we have today, all the cables and rig things and limited connection, that's the vision we have today of those, the big cell phones from the 80s. That was the high tech at the time. You can speak to anyone, but today we look back with smartphones and we say, okay, Would we have social networks with that kind of phone? Of course not. Maybe in computers, but there's a big difference of what we see in the beginning of a boom like we're living now, and what's coming next, and I mean 5 years, 10 years. And our expectation in the digital team and also, and I'm sure it's the same thing for everybody else. We want to see what's coming, and of course use what we have today and fit to different needs and different technical needs and learning needs to get to this human part of the learners, and tell them, okay, you are in front of a computer, you are using a VR goggle, but we understand what you need. We're discovering with you what you need, and from that we can all feed this huge machine that is creating uh, the M word. I'm not going to say it, but this is being built today for something in the future that we don't really understand today. It's like saying, okay, we have smartphones, but 10 years later, what do you have? And it's interesting when you see like TV shows that run for 7, 8 years, and they began in 2005, 2007. You see the difference. In the beginning, they're all the flips, the flip cell phones, and in the end, they're seeing pictures in their smartphones. It was super fast, and I believe it will be the same with VR, with XR. The way I see it today is that lots of companies, lots of people are creating different things, maybe focusing on one side of the like a formal business thing, and the other one is more for leisure and fun. We know that's a very powerful thing, games, fun, and they're focusing on that to discover more things that we're still not able to do, to really trick our brains into saying, okay, this is it. I don't know about you, but all the XR that we see today, they're super nice and amazing. But for me, at least, I still feel that we miss that. Okay, this is it, like we have with the iPhone. The, from that point on, things are different, and then I'm sure we'll see that very fast, very soon, and the prices of things will be much lower. The weight of the VR goggles will drop, and the connection will improve, and then the storage space that we are facing the problems today, that will be transformed into a new reality, and that right now it has to do with the limitations that we have, but like Karen said, this is technology that is being built for years and years, and now we reached a critical point that it will mutate into something else because we have a need. And in the future, okay, COVID was just one thing, but we will be able to go everywhere. We'll be able to experience different things that we can't today. And for learning, this is super powerful because what is better to learn about the risk of working on a roof than being on the roof and maybe falling from the roof and really maybe feeling the fall and the scare. You trick your brain into really feeling fear. That's the emotion. That's what's powerful, and we can do that with many other things. The welding, for example, that you can smell the smoke. You can taste something. You can touch. You can grab tools and feel the weight of the tool and see how it's going to be in the real world. That there's no replacement for the real thing, but I think with VR and XR, we are going to go a step further than that. We are going to, I know this is not real, and in this little world here, which is much larger than our own world, I can do anything. Like this is the stuff of dreams. I can fly, I can breathe underwater, I can explore things that I cannot do in real life. So we go a step further, and uh, me right now, I have no idea the impact that will be in my kids, for example. I think their reality will be much different from anything I know today, and they will make fun of me because I still use my smartphone. And this is what I hope, honestly, to really integrate the human part of the people into the XR and VR and all the metaverse and sorry, I said it. Anything related to this, and I think we're about to see flip in reality. That's it. Not just an extended reality, but which one is the reality? Because if
Yeah.
we go to the to the dream side, that will be the reality. That's where we want to be. Not
I think we can choose, yeah. I think we can choose our own reality. And thank you so much, Gabriel, for this perspective. The moment we started with you guys last summer, it was only concerning a few hundreds of person, and now today I think it is going to be deployed to 1,000 collaborators inside Alstom University, and that's the power of such a technology. um, so I think in a couple months we will give more and more information about all those corporates that are paving the way of what we will call probably corporate metaverse in a few months or probably years, since it's going very very fast. Um, just to conclude, because I really want to ask this question to the three of you, if you had one advice, but really one advice for these companies, organization, but even individuals that are still hesitating to using such a technology, fearing to replace the in-person interactions, which is not the idea of using such a technology. We're not here to replace the physical life and to build a complete virtual one. So what could be the one advice you'd give to that person, Karen?
Oh, okay. Well, I think that in terms of for organizations, and this is an advice that a piece of advice that I do give out sometimes, and that is that you can start small, but you need to start now.
Yes.
And you need to get involved in using these technologies and learn on your experiences and build on them. Otherwise, you'll find yourself way far behind very, very soon. So start using them in, even if it's in a small way, start it now.
A very good one. I think Alstom did the right way. What about you, Nicholas? What would be this one advice?
I think if you want to understand VR, metaverse, this kind of thing, you have to try it. Uh, I'm, I already seen lots of people we already have an opinion about virtual reality, about metaverse, this kind of thing, but they never put a VR headset on their head. They don't know what they are talking about. It's because I believe this is so much new technology, so much um, disruptive disruptive technologies that some people can't conceptualize what it is really, and what it is right now, not in the future, not in 5 years, but right now. When I put an VR headset on someone that never try VR, um, they, they, they are they are always astonished by by what it is, by the power of immersion that we have right now. They believe that's something that we can have in maybe 10 or 20 years. No, it's right now. But when you see a video of someone using VR, you can't understand it. You have to try it. And I think that's what you have to do to understand, to begin to think about what it will be, what it is right now. You have to try it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think it makes
completely
sense.
agree. Oh, sorry, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no. And it's, you can talk about virtual reality all you want, but it's hard for people to understand until they
Mm.
put on a headset, and then the ideas start to explode.
I totally agree on that. I think it makes sense. So, first, try small by testing. I mean, it's coherent, and we'll leave it with you, Gabrielle, in a few words because I think we're running out of time.
Yes,
One advice.
I'll be quick. My advice would be the same one as Nicola. I would say
Yeah,
try it, and we see that often, even with Verbella, like, okay, but I install and then I create an avatar. If you don't see it happening, it's like the first time I taught my grandmother to make a phone call with a smartphone with a camera. For her, it was like another planet, and then suddenly, in 5 minutes, it all made sense. And then in a week, she was calling everybody.
well, see.
No, no, no discrimination. And
That's great.
my final thought will be that remember that the hardest step in a journey is the first one. After you
True.
begin, then there's no way back because you started it, and we are in the beginning of this extended reality world, the new world, and people have to start. They have to try it, and we have to motivate them to do it. Otherwise, they'll be left behind. They don't have to rush to catch up.
I totally agree. I thank you so much, the three of you. It was a very, very interesting conversation here. I'm sure all of you could be talking about that for a couple more hours. There's so much things to say, but even to question. So yeah, definitely.